Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I'm back for game 2 here from the Red Bull Battlegrounds, New York City. And in the top left hand corner of the map, we have Startail Bomber as the blue Terran, and in the top right hand corner we have Acer's Scarlet. And before this match gets underway, this is probably a great time for me to go ahead and introduce the map. This map is called Frost. And it's a pretty cool map. Let me go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown. I actually only saw the map overview, if you will, before I started up the game, and it looked pretty sweet. So this will be my first virtual tour along with you guys. Looks like we've got a natural expansion here with some icicle things back here. And usually when you've got stuff like this, it's a great place for air units to kind of harass the enemy player's expansion. But you'll note that there is like a rock thing right there, so you can't throw like a siege tank on top of there. That would be like BGH status from the good old days of Brood War. And over here at the natural, we do have some rocks leading down out to the open field. Of course, another expansion over here. And it's a pretty symmetrical map, it looks like. You can see there's this little hallway corridor. If you want to go ahead and harass your opponent, you can take that bridge, but I would imagine that Terrans will seal this off pretty quickly. And in the middle of the map, we do have some interesting features, a lot of open territory. If you want to be swarming with the Zerg, it looks like it's a pretty fair map because you've got, you know, the narrow corridors and then you've got the open field as well. Red Bull Battlegrounds. In fact, that just makes me want to go and get some Red Bull out of the fridge right now. I'll probably grab some before I start the next game, either game 3 or the next game that I'll be doing from this tournament. We do have a interesting feature here. It's like mini Vespine geysers surrounding the Zelnaga Tower. There is one here, and then there's one down here. And it looks like it's a 4-player map, but since both players have spawned on the northern side, we might not see, you know, the expansions all the way down on the bottom sides being taken. And interesting move here from Scarlet. She's actually grabbed the expansion here rather than what I thought she would do, which is grab the one over here. And I'm trying to figure out why. One thing about the expansion over here is it is obviously vulnerable to attacks right there. So I guess that's probably the main reason. It would be very difficult to hold an expansion here if, for example, Bomber sends a squad of Marines or puts a bunker right there. So I guess this expansion is the safer one to take. But being that you are a Zerg, you do have to worry about attacks that can come around from this side, leading into the middle of the map. So it is a really interesting map. It's big in some areas, and then it's narrow and difficult to navigate in others. And so I think there's a lot of features here that the players can take advantage of, and very excited to see what happens in game 2. Scarlet is down 1 in this set, so she'll need to get it together here in the Red Bull Battlegrounds if she wants to defeat Bomber, who I obviously feel like Bomber is one of the world's premier Terran players. So Scarlet has her work cut out for her, to say the least. We do have an expansion up right here, another expo coming up. So Bomber here really feeling the kind of the same way that I'm feeling. It's a big map, and on a big map like this, I think going full-on macro is the right strategy. Bomber has actually sniffed out the natural and therefore knows where Scarlet location is at. And oh, that Overlord! Oh my God! Survives with 1 HP intact. How the hell did that happen? But there it is. So pro gamers, man, they know better than me and you. So very nice job by Scarlet to keep the Overlord alive. And yeah, like I said, this is a big map. I think on a big map like this, going for bold and risky macro is the right strategy. And expanding a lot, getting macro command centers, getting macro hatcheries. This is the map to do it on. I don't think this is one of the maps where you can play a more aggressive opening because it's so big. First of all, you got to scout where your opponent is. And even once you scout your opponent, it's not guaranteed that you can take them out because it's a pretty big map and it's pretty easy to protect, at least your natural as far as that goes. Where it starts to get hairy, I think, is when you start to take the 3rd and the 4th expansions. Those are a little bit more difficult to hang on to. We'll see what happens. We do actually have a Marauder being produced by Bomber's Barracks, and that's what I didn't expect to see, a Marauder this early. And this matchup, usually Marauders aren't used too heavily in Terran versus Zerg. But I've got to say, you know, Bomber has been mixing it up quite nicely. He doesn't rely too heavily on Widow Mines like most Terrans did in TvZ. He's actually got a nice mixture of units. He even used Cloak Banshees last game. So anything is possible here. These two Hellions are at the front, just on the edge of creep. And it looks like these queens are just going to hang out there, spread a couple of creep tumors, and make sure that they've got good... they've got good creep spread. This music is actually really distracting me right now. Sometimes the StarCraft music can really get in your head while you're playing. And here comes these Hellions. They are going to run over to the natural expansion, but those Zerglings and the Queens are there ready to defend. But it looks like the Hellions run down to the third expansion and find a way to take out a few drones. Those 3 drones just kind of lined up and got railgunned. And a nice job by Bomber, because now he knows that Scarlet has a third expansion. It's located here. And, you know, he can actually attack from back here, send forces around the long way, and come around the back of this third expansion as well. It looks like his Hellions on the way out. I'm not sure why he sent them in like that, although he was able to kill 3 additional drones. I'm not sure if it was worth losing his 3 Hellions, though. I think I would have preferred to just run them back this way and get them the hell out of there. And on the way out here, we do see that Scarlet is planning to take another expansion, so she is going to go up to the 4th. And yeah, this is a huge map. Frost is a map where you do not fool around here, guys. And I think both players realizing that they are going to go full on macro. And we might be in store for a pretty sweet game here, guys. Bomber coming down to the third expansion at the same time. And it looks like he does have the starport coming up as well. And, you know, the thing here is I don't think he's going to be going for, you know, Banshees, because he's got the reactor coming. So you've got to imagine he's going to go for more traditional medevac support. We do have Widow Mines at the front as well. And, yeah, right now, this is an extremely close game. Nobody really has a big edge. I think Bomber, you know, he killed off a few drones, but he also lost his Hellions, so it's pretty even in that regard. The production tab is, you know, pretty crazy, too. Both players are just trying to outproduce each other right now. And, you know, for 10 minutes in, for Scarlet to be going on the 4th, and for Bomber to be secured and mining at the 3rd, it just goes to show that this is, you know, this is going to be a long, drawn-out engagement. This is not going to be ending in the next, you know, 10 minutes, I don't think. This Overlord continues to fly across the frozen tundra of Frost, and it actually does have Overlord movement speed, it looks like. So yeah, Pneumatized Carapace is done. And that's nice for Scarlet, because she's got Overlords positioned all over the Terran base. You can get a quick scout, and it looks like here Bomber is going to move out. He's going to move out with his Marines and Widow Mines classic. New Age Classic, I guess you would call it Neo-Classical TvZ here. And it is Widowmine Marine here, full on for Bomber. And he's got +1/+1 done as well. Scarlet also has +1/+1 herself. And this is one area where a lot of Zergs succumb, is they don't match the upgrades of the Terran player. But Scarlet has done that quite nicely. She's actually got Baneling Speed done as well. And she's going to be able to take out this army. Very nice job by Scarlet. I've got to just once again reiterate how difficult this is as Zerg when you're dealing with Widowmine Marine. To match the upgrade of the Terran player and to have Baneling Speed out, you need all 3 things going for you in order to stop that Terran push. And I think that Scarlet is going to be able to overwhelm the Terran army here. She's got creep spread all the way to the middle of the map as well. It looks like for a moment here she will need to pull back. And this is Bomber's opportunity here. If he can set up, you know, some type of contain outside the Zerg expansions, he would be in a pretty good shape. He's actually going to go straight down here, and he knows that there's going to be expansion here. He's going to take out this hatchery, it looks like, and Scarlet immediately expanding down to the bottom right-hand corner, just going to run the drones away. Pretty smart decision. I don't think she can defend the hatchery in time, but she's going to try nevertheless. Zerglings and Mutalisks coming in here. Will she have enough? I don't think so. The hatchery is going to die, it looks like. No! Bomber not going to focus it down. Yeah, there we go. Now he does take out the hatchery, so the hatchery has fallen. But Bomber really didn't kill any drones in that engagement. Most of the drones actually ran back home, and they are just going to go straight back to mining. It looks like, I don't know where these drones are actually going. It looks like one going to become a hatchery up here, and I guess he's just going to hide, you know, have the rest of the drones chill there. So Scarlet doing a pretty good job herself, and now she gets great bailing detonations, taking out a good chunk of the Terran bio army underneath. 12 Marines also coming out. Man, look at the production back at home for Bomber. He is on full-on sicko macro mode right now, and that is, you know, he is just producing like a boss. So even though he lost, you know, maybe a third or a half of his army there, he's quickly reinforced his position. And, you know, Scarlet at the same time also having some pretty good macro herself. She's producing a ton of mutas and zerglings. And this is exactly the kind of game that I think we all hoped we would see here between these two players. The first match I'm casting here from Red Bull Battlegrounds, my first match back, and this is absolutely phenomenal. We do have a lot of zerglings running in. The supply depot was lowered, and these zerglings are gonna find their way into the heart of the Terran labyrinth. But there is a lot of Marines coming out of these barracks, so I don't know how much damage that Scarlet will be able to do. At the same time, Bomber continuing to press forward on this hatchery. Zerglings are forced to actually run back, and they are going to go down to this expansion instead. Meanwhile, more Terran forces pushing forward here, and it looks like Scarlet in a little bit of trouble. She doesn't have quite the ground support she needs to take out this Terran army, and she's forced to pull back. This hatchery now in some trouble, but Bomber is also losing an expansion as well, so it's an even trade. I believe Scarlet has lost most of her Zerglings, and at the same time here, will she be able to take out most of these Marines? 3-3 on the way for the Terran army. It doesn't look like the Zerg has 3-3 on the way quite yet, so there is going to be an upgrade disadvantage here for the Zerg player. At the same time, Scarlet just lost her expansion. More Marines reinforcing this position. And Bomber, man, just, you know, absolute killer instinct, knows when to, you know, pull back, knows when to attack. I think he's, there's no question about it, he's done more damage to Scarlet than Scarlet has done to him. But the thing here is, if you look at the supplies, you know, Scarlet, she's actually not too bad in terms of supply. She's got 162, and I'm looking at the income, most of that being because she's got 40 more drones than the Terran army has SCVs. So, for Scarlet here, all she's got to do is macro up a sizable army, which she has one right now. She can afford to lose this hatchery, I think. She just needs to take out this Terran bio army on the ground, and then she's going to do just that right now. Will she have enough forces? I think so. Most of the medevacs are going to get out of the way, though, and, you know, that's one thing that, as a Zerg, you always want to try to take out those medevacs, even though they have Ignite Afterburners. Try to chase them down and finish them off, because they are the backbone of a good Terran player at the very least. And now it looks like Bomber losing most of his forces, is forced to pull back home now. Oh, how the tides have changed, and I think Scarlet now might be, you know, itching to go for a counterattack. Not a bad idea at all, but 3-3 is about to finish. It is 10 seconds away here for +3 weapons, about 15 seconds away for +3 armor, and that is going to make a huge difference in the battle. Oh, Widow Mine going off right there as well. Got to be careful about those mines, although they do less damage in terms of splash now, so it's not absolutely devastating for Zerg as it used to be. And you know, that's reflected in how many Widow Mines, you know, Terran players get now. You can see Bomber doesn't really have that many mines, just a few, and it looks like he's going to get overwhelmed here. The Zerg army just crashing on through, and nothing that Bomber can do, it looks like. He needs reinforcements. His barracks are quickly reproducing more Marines and mines. Will Bomber have enough in time? It doesn't look like he'll be able to save the third expansion, and that Expo is going to go down. Scarlet, with a brilliant move, even though she was facing +3/+3, just had the raw numbers to go with it. Although she has just lost an expansion, great side attack here from Bomber, bringing that medevac around the backside and taking that expansion out and limiting the Zerg down to 4 bases. You know, basically Bomber saying, all right, if you kill my 3rd base, I'm going to kill your 4th base. So actually that is Scarlet's 5th base, not her 4th base. So, you know, once again, Bomber is fighting a definite uphill battle right now, as Scarlet has waged war quite effectively. And now we'll just see what happens here in the last, in the next battle. We do have Bomber pushing out with his +3/+3 bio army. I don't know if Scarlet actually has enough forces to take this out. She has a ton of mutas, but there are just so many Marines on the ground below. Yeah, Scarlet is going to be forced to retreat, and this is a dangerous situation here for the Zerg player. Bomber can make a push out here and do some serious damage. It looks like this expansion is blocked off by creep. Bomber trying to get another Expo down, but now I think his effort should be focused on pushing forward and taking out a hatchery. If he wants a chance to win this game, he needs to push, he needs to do do damage, but he's run into a massive Zerg army, and these Marines are just gonna get absolutely creamed. Nothing they can do. And Bomber now, yeah, he's kind of played himself into a corner. And I think, Scarlet just played an excellent macro game there. Gonna be able to overwhelm this third expansion. The reinforcing Marines, not enough to deal with this. And Bomber GG's. Scarlet has taken game 2. We are gonna go right into the third and final match here from the group stage of Red Bull Battlegrounds New York. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm gonna come right back with game 3. This is HD, signing out.